Welcome, everyone, to Stepping Into Your Leadership. I'm your host, Christine Courtney. Our goal here is to give you some actionable takeaways that will help you lead your teams. Thanks for joining us on this leadership journey. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to the Leadership Summer Studio. We're here today with our summer series, which is our Leadership Beach Read, but in your ears. And I'm really happy to bring you Tom and Blonka here with us today. Hey guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Two leadership favorites who I'm going to put on the spot to answer some leadership lightning round questions in a little bit. But first, we're going to have one hypothetical problem employee that we're dealing with. And I've brought in experts, Tom and Blonka, to chat about how they would handle this employee, right? So handling a difficult situation. If you're listening along with us, think about who you agree with, what you would add on, how you would do it differently. It's all good practice for our brains because these are based in some real situations that you guys sent in. So the way it's going to work in round one is I'm going to read the scenario of the employee, and then I'm going to start with you, Tom, because you're a pro doing this here in the studio. This isn't your first rodeo, right? So you're going to go first. And
it's
then
my third
Blonka
rodeo, I think.
Can argue with you, tell you where you're wrong. You know, she loves to know. Or she can say how she would do it differently or the same.
Now you have to do it to my face, Blonka.
I didn't mean to out you there, Blonka. Okay, here we go. You ready? Listen up because there's clues throughout. Okay, we're going to deal with Emily today. Boom, boom, boom. Emily, a product manager, has not met her quarterly performance goals. Her project is behind schedule and key milestones have been missed. The project was supposed to enter the testing phase last month, but due to missed deadlines, it is still in development, causing concerns about meeting the launch date. Okay. So how are you, as her boss, going to talk to Emily? Tom, you're up.
So before I really talk to Emily, I'm getting status from her, right? And so I'm learning what our constraints are right now because some of them have changed. We're behind schedule. Hopefully we've created a nice, scheduling chart and we can see some areas that we can squish and possibly remove. If there's no chart, then there's a problem, right? And that's on me now because I haven't led it right. I always start these things. It's going to become pretty apparent with the question of how did I contribute to this? That's my first question. Did I set this person up for success? And I'm definitely going to sit down with Emily now and look at areas that are the primary, most important paths that we have that are not shrinkable and where we might be able to either shrink or duplicate at the same time. I'm getting a little bit technical here, but if there's areas that I need to duplicate, I have to change the funding constraint because I'm going to have to add probably an additional resource to get this thing done. So
you're talking budget.
Yeah, I'm talking budget now, but we're going to look at the scheduling chart over to see if we can change anything that has to do with the time constraint. Okay, so I'm going to look at the four possible constraints I can mess with in this situation. One is scope of the project. One is quality of the project. One is schedule, the time of the project, and the other is the budget. So the first thing I'm going to look at, because I don't want to change the quality, probably the scope is fixed. So we're going to look at the time and see, are there areas that we can adjust? Have we maximized? Ideally, we already have maximized it, but there might be areas that we can scrunch. So we're going to look at that and see what we can change in the timeline. Then we're going to look at the budget together and see, do we need to add additional budget to this thing to get it done, which just means more people doing the work. So it's just really getting into the details of the project to seeing which of those four constraints, scope, time, budget, and quality, which of those can be adjusted and which are fixed. And then we're going to sort of manage that together. Through doing that with her, I am giving her professional development because she's learning more about these kinds of processes. So I don't always have to be doing that from the top down. And then it is true. Sometimes you have budget overruns on projects. You really want to avoid it, but it does happen. And sometimes you have, time goes a little bit longer. You have to figure out how you're going to communicate with the client. So it's just giving her those tools and making sure she's off track now. How did we get off track? Analyzing that, seeing where we can make adjustments to get it on track, communicating with the client, guiding her through that. And then, so I'm just gonna have to play a much more active role to get her on that track. But the whole point of doing that is that once we get this thing done, even if it's a little bit time delayed or cost overage, that the next time she's on a project, she'll have those tools under her belt and she'll be able to perform better. She's going to be a better employee next time than she is today because of this. But we want to do that without the expense of having the client be upset with the fact that we're not achieving the results that we guaranteed from the top. Like, I don't take that casually. It does happen. Ideally, we have the resources to be able to help catch it up. But yeah. Is that
all right? That's your
messy?
answer.
I know.
So
Sorry.
I'm going to toss it to Blonka. Blonka, you have the mic. Anything you would add, delete to what he's
I think in this point, how do we handle Emily is different than how do we handle the project. I think those are two different things. How we handle the project is all the things that Tom said, and I think that's super important. Now, how do we handle Emily as an employee who has, I hate to say failed, but hasn't met the level of progress that we want with the project? Then, unfortunately, as a manager, you may have to come in and micromanage a little bit. You're going to definitely train along the way, but you may have to step in, because if it is about budget, if it's about timing, you may not have the option to go over budget. And there may be if it's a product, it may be a hard deadline. Product launches, they can push them out, but this may not have that. And so you may have to step in and literally, I think with the person that is in this situation, first conversation is, hey, this is where we are. I got it. Right now, we're in push mode. We will circle back and have a conversation about how we got here, because that's actually more important than where we are right now. But right now, we have to be in push mode to get this project done and launched. So I'm going to step in, take a little bit of a more active role, and we can do this together. And same thing as Tom was saying, by doing that for me, they get to kind of see what's happening and how this can go. And you're kind of modeling along the way. Project gets done. Then we come back to Emily and say, hey, okay, where do we go off the rails? As Tom said, what was my responsibility? Did we not meet enough one-on-one? Did I not give you enough guidance? Did I not, as Tom said, did I not set you up for success? Let's please have that conversation so that it doesn't go, that way forward.
Yeah, I love that, because it's true. If you don't know what the challenges were that she faced, then you're going to repeat the same thing, or you're going to question, is this person right for the next project? Because I would have real concerns about giving it to Emily now. But it's true. If you guys were coming to me and saying Emily's off, you're going to have to jump in. I agree with that, road. And then how do you figure out if this is the right person for next time? How do you trust her again?
I mean, the thing is, you see how they work in this one.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is, do they accept responsibility for where this project is right now? That's number one. Because if they're like, well, no, Tom didn't give me the data and I was going to do that, but then Wendell didn't do this. And then, I was waiting, but the client never, if it's that conversation, then the post-mortem on this project is going to go very vastly different.
Yeah.
Than her, than Emily saying, you know what, you're right. I was overwhelmed. I thought I could do this, but I just need more time, or I need this. Or if they're really taking ownership and, accountability for where this project is. And also if they have ideas and they can fully join in with you, like, I could have done this better. I should have done that better. I should have come to you. I should have reached out to Wendell, all those things. Then you have a place like, oh, this is somebody I can work with. This is somebody I can train, and we can look at this again. That's
yeah.
I do want to make one point about the value, why we're highly suggesting you do your self-analysis first, is that about how did I fail, right? Is that Emily's impact on the company is pretty big, right? She's behind schedule on this project. She's actually still in the beta testing phase or whatever you said. So she's really behind. And if she's behind because I failed as the manager, the impact of my failure there is much bigger than Emily's, because I'm probably failing many others in the same way. So if I do my analysis I get actually more return on my investment of analyzing my own performance for the company, because the cost benefit to the company of me improving my performance is actually much bigger than Emily's, because she has a smaller footprint. So she's managing fewer people probably. And it's also fair to her. I'm wondering, I see some red flags in here. I'm like, how is it that in the status reporting, I didn't find out about this earlier? How did it get so far?
Or maybe you've just been busy and haven't checked anything on the status.
I mean, there's the reality of then that is on me.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm the one that needs to manage my workload and my priorities. What was I busy doing that I did not see this? So I need to do my, my little chart. There's, the Eisenhower matrix, whatever, look at my priorities, talk to my boss. Get a sense of my priorities, this ongoing thing. This is one of those things that will actually impact.
Yeah, especially the first time around. I believe what Blonka's saying. You've got to see how she does when she works with you now one-on-one, because now you're working together to finish this thing up. And that is going to tell you whether she's ready to be delegated a project again. What I hear so often is that people will get to this point, and because they haven't checked, Tom, and they haven't done that work, they blame Emily and want her off their team. And they want to move her to another team within the company, because they don't want to fire her, because they have a guilty feeling that they haven't done something, but they need to feel like they have people that don't need them, really. You know what I mean? And I'm always interested, nope, you've got to go through that process. And I do think how she is working to get it finished is going to tell you a lot. All right, you guys, thanks for playing along with Emily and helping us figure her out. We're ready for a lightning round?
Oh my.
So this is how it goes, Blonka. I give you 2 minutes on the clock. All right.
2 minutes total for both of us.
Total for the whole lightning round. And we try to see how many questions we can get through in 2 minutes with both of you answering. And just so you know, the highest we've ever gotten is 3 questions. Okay. So who knows? But Blanca's quite to the point, Tom, but you're going to throw off our time, I can tell.
I'm not so good at just saying the thing.
We'll see. Okay. I'm going to ask the question. Tom, usually I would start with Blonka, but I'm going to start with you because you've done this before too. So I'm going to start with you. Then Blonka, I go to you. Then the next question, Blonka, I start with you. And then I go to Tom and vice versa. Okay. You ready? All right. So I'll start the clock right after I ask the first question. All right. Tom and Blonka, but Tom first. What's your approach to making a tough decision?
Talking to people who I trust.
Okay.
That's number one. Yeah.
Blonka?
Pro and con list.
Great. Okay. How do you handle conflict when it comes up between employees that have nothing to do with you? Blonka?
Ooh, that's a good one. That has nothing to do with me?
Yeah. You just hear about it.
Leave it alone.
Yeah, conflict isn't bad necessarily. Yeah. People need to be able to take care of that on their own for the most part, if it's possible. If they can't, that's a shame. So I'll also,
especially if you don't know what it is, because you may be making it, exacerbating it. If you,
I don't need to put myself in that. Yeah,
I love it. Okay, what's your favorite leadership book or podcast, Tom?
Well, yeah, I think I answered. I'm saying you asked me this once before. I think
you gotta call
my answer is the same. Well, The Endurance is just so good as a book for leadership. I don't like leadership books necessarily about leadership, but you learn so much about how to be an effective leader in the moment, not for project management. You can learn what not to do for project management with this guy.
Blonka.
Probably Dr. Seuss. I
love that.
Okay. All right.
Hey, there's some really good leadership lessons for kids in Dr. Seuss.
True. Okay.
All right. How do you balance being both a boss and sometimes a friend to your people that report to you? Tom?
I'm really good at just compartmentalizing, and I'll tell them about the fact that I compartmentalize the two. And then we just sort of create that clear boundary as much as possible. So, yeah, that's my answer.
You're done. Blonka.
I'm not as good at that as Tom. I think it's very, very difficult. Now I think I try to come from everything from a heart-centered place. Look, I love you. This is work. This is this, so that's one of the most difficult things, because most of the people that I work with, I absolutely love and consider genuine friends.
Yeah. I know, that's why I asked the question, but it was good.
We could do a whole podcast on this. I have so much to say.
Totally.
Just shutting up. It's so hard.
We can. Great idea. We're going to add that. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for listening to our Summer Leadership Beach podcast. I hope you're enjoying it. And thanks, guys. See you soon.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. I'd like to give a special shout out to our podcast producer, Richard Francisco. Check out our notes for any details. And if you get anything out of this, please follow us. And if you enjoy it, please take a moment to rate us or write a comment. It will mean the world to us. We'd love to hear from you. And if you just can't get enough, follow me on TikTok and check out tlpnyc.com/podcast for more information.